Hey there, and welcome. So think about programming like you're building something. Anything you can imagine. Well, to build anything great, you need a good tool belt. Today, we're going to pop open Python's digital tool belt and get to know the most essential tools inside, its data types. Let's get right into it.
So let's kick things off with a really simple question. How on earth does a computer, which, really only thinks in ones and zeros, know the difference between the number 10, something you can add and subtract, and the word 10, which is just text? The answer to that is the key to this whole explainer.
And that answer is something called a data type. You can just think of it as a label. It's our way of telling Python, hey, this thing I'm giving you, it's a number. Or, nope, this one over here is text. That little label tells Python exactly how to store it and what kind of things we can actually do with it.
All right, let's start with the absolute basics in our tool belt. These are the simplest tools for the job, the ones that hold just one single piece of information. You can think of these as your trusty hammer and screwdriver.
So on one side, you've got numbers. These are for, well, all your math stuff. Integers, decimals, you name it. And on the other side, you have strings, which are for text. A string is really just any bunch of characters you wrap up in quotes. Super simple, right? Numbers do math, strings do words. Now, strings have this one really crucial property. They are immutable. That's a super important word. It means once you've made a string, you can't actually change it. If you try to, Python doesn't just edit the original one. Nope. It creates a completely new string from scratch.
And that whole idea, being unchangeable, is probably the single most important concept for understanding your entire Python toolbelt. This is kind of the aha moment. Every other data type we're going to look at falls into one of two camps, the ones you can change and the ones that are set in stone.
So let's just break that down. Mutable simply means it's changeable. Think of it like a flexible container where you can add stuff or take things out. Immutable means it's fixed. It's like a sealed, reliable container that you can't mess with once it's created. Getting this difference is the secret to picking the right tool every single time. And this table here, this is basically our roadmap. On the left, you've got all the flexible, mutable tools, like lists and dictionaries. And on the right, you have the fixed, immutable ones, like tuples and those strings we just talked about. So let's go explore them. Let's start with the flexible side of our tool belt, the mutable stuff. These are the tools that give you a ton of wiggle room, because you can change them up whenever you need to, right on the fly. First up, we've got the list. This is probably the one you'll use the most. It's basically an ordered collection of things, it's changeable, and you spot it by the square brackets. And because it's so darn flexible, you can toss different kinds of data types into the same list. No problem. And you can see that right here. We can just take our list and combine it with a whole other list just by using a plus sign. This shows you exactly what makes lists so great. They are incredibly flexible. You can add to them, change them, and just expand your data as you go.
Okay, next up in our mutable kit, the dictionary. Honestly, the best way to think about this is like a real-world dictionary. It's not ordered by numbers like a list is. Instead, it's made up of key-value pairs. You use a unique key, like a word, to immediately look up its value, like the definition.
And here it is in action. We've got a dictionary with two keys, name and age. If we want to find out the name, we just ask for it using that key, and bam, Python gives us back red. It's a ridiculously efficient way to organize and find related bits of information.
Our last flexible tool for today is the set. Now, it uses those same curly braces as a dictionary, but a set has a special superpower. It only stores unique items. It automatically gets rid of any duplicates for you, which is, as you can imagine, super handy.
Yeah, check this out. We tried to put two apples into our basket set, but when we look at what's inside, apple only shows up once. The set just took care of that duplicate for us automatically. Also, you'll notice the order might be different, and that's because sets aren't about position, they're just about what's in them.
All right, time to switch gears. Let's look at the other side of the tool belt, the immutable or fixed collections. These are the tools you reach for when you need things to be super reliable, and you want to make absolutely sure your data doesn't get changed by accident somewhere down the line. And that brings us to the classic showdown, the list versus the tuple. I mean, look at them. They look almost exactly the same. The only real difference in how you write them is the square brackets for a list and parentheses for a tuple. But how they behave, totally different worlds. The list is changeable, but the tuple, well, that one's immutable. And here's the proof in the pudding. We create a tuple, and then we try to change that second item to the word update. And what happens? Python just stops us in our tracks with an error. It's basically protecting that data, telling us, nope, you can't change a tuple. That's immutability right there. And finally, we have the Frozenset. So just like a tuple is the unchangeable version of a list, the Frozenset is the unchangeable version of a set. It's got that same superpower. It only stores unique things. But once it's made, it's locked in. You can't add anything, you can't take anything away. It's a fixed bag of unique items.
So, we've seen both sides of the coin, the flexible, changeable tools and the fixed, reliable ones. Now let's just pull it all together and take one last look at our complete Python tool belt, so you know exactly which tool to grab no matter what you're trying to build.
And here it is. This is your ultimate cheat sheet. If you need a collection that's ordered and you need to change it, grab a list. If it needs to be ordered but you want to protect it from changes, use a tuple. Need super fast lookups using words or keys? Dictionary is your best friend. And if you just need to make sure you only have unique items, use a set if you need flexibility, or a Frozenset if you need it to be rock solid and reliable.
See, at the end of the day, picking the right data type isn't just some boring technical detail. It's about making your intentions clear and writing code that's safer and way more efficient. So you've got the foundational tool belt now. The only question left is, what are you going to build with it?